Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 4, and today we're taking a look at the 2010 Vauxhall Insignia VXR. Now this is part of the first generation Insignia, which was produced between 2008 and 2017, and it was a replacement for the Vauxhall Vectra, which was abysmal in every way, quite frankly, and that also had a VXR version in its lineup, which was really rather quick in a straight line, but didn't handle whatsoever as it was only front wheel drive, whereas this car is all wheel drive, and it also has a modified McPherson strut for the front suspension, which reduces torque steer. Also has an electronic rear limited slip differential, and it has adaptive suspension with 3 different settings: normal, sport and VXR, all adjusting ride comfort, etc. like that. So yeah, I really rather like this car. It's granted a mishmash of things I like or don't like, but in general I do like it because it is a bit of an alternative to the kind of German sports saloons that are out there. Things I like, for the most part, I like the looks. I like the fact it's got all-wheel drive, it's got plenty of power, it's got a decent interior in terms of quality and space. As you can see, there's really quite a lot of room in the back there. There's actually more room in the back than there was in a Vectra. And yeah, it's got a decent sized boot as well, as you can see. Things I don't like, the sound of the engine isn't all that great, and those air vents under the headlights to the right of the actual grille are a little bit, out of place. They don't look like they should be there, which is kind of proven by the fact that when they did the facelift in 2013, they completely removed them and made it look infinitely better. In terms of the engine though, it's a 2.8 litre turbocharged V6 engine, producing 322 horsepower and 321 pounds-feet of torque, which, granted, nowhere near as powerful as your likes of your BMWs, your Audis, your Mercedes, or even Jaguars, but this was quite cheap in comparison to those kind of cars. So and it had plenty of performance in comparison to those as well. I mean, if you wanted a Mercedes C-Class or anything like that, as powerful and as quick as this, you'd be looking at way more money. So yeah, quite competitive in terms of pricing. And to be honest, it looks, kind of better than a Mercedes or an Audi. So yeah, I'm on board with it in that regards. And unlike a Mercedes or a BMW, it obviously has all-wheel drive, so it's got plenty of security in terms of drivability. And yeah, that means that it's quite a car you can have plenty of confidence in terms of handling, because when you overdo it, it does understeer a little bit to tell you're being a bit stupid, but you'd struggle very hard to get it into oversteer mode. So yeah, quite a secure and safe handling car, but can be quite fun as well because you can absolutely floor it, and because it's so grippy and got all that all-wheel drive system going for you, it means you can be in the safe comfort of knowing that no matter how quick you're going around a corner, you're more than likely going to be alright. Nonetheless, let's get out onto the road and see what it can do. Biggest problem though I have with this car is the weight of the thing. 322 horsepower is pretty decent, but this car weighs 3,880 pounds, so yeah, it might have a decent amount of power and torque, but the amount of it weighs does offset that power and torque by quite a fair bit. If it weighed a few £100 lighter, then this would have been, yeah, really rather competitive in terms of performance, but unfortunately it's not. We haven't got really much to compare this against. Even a Jaguar XES from a few years later has a bit more power and a bit less weight, and that's a lot quicker than this, even though that's only rear wheel drive. So yeah, not got really anything to compare it against, but that's okay. You don't always have to compare a car against other ones, and to be honest, I kind of like this in terms of the fact that it's quite, on its own out there. There's not many cars in the sports saloon sector that are from 2010 on this game, let alone ones that are more modestly priced. But nonetheless, this is still a pretty decent performance car. 0 to 16 5.582 seconds, 0 to 114.581 seconds, and it will go to a top speed of 177 miles an hour, which is, yeah, fairly decent. I'm really not going to complain against that, especially since this is easily one of Vauxhall's more powerful cars. Not quite as powerful as a Monaro, but yeah, in terms of saloon cars, it's easily one of their more powerful ones. Obviously, I'm not including the Lotus Carlton in that, because that was primarily a Lotus car, just had a Vauxhall body. But yeah, it's fairly decent, and compared to the likes of the Vectra from beforehand, which had quite a lot of power in it and was really rather quick like this car, that only had front wheel drive, and it had an awful chassis on it which could not deal with all that extra power, so it understeer galore. And while this does have some understeer, because it now has all-wheel drive, it's got the rear end to you know, help out with the power and spread out that power a bit more evenly. So yeah, pretty decent handling car, looks mostly good, and yeah, got plenty of power. Like I said though, my only main issue is the weight. The engine noise isn't all that exciting. V6s tend not to be honest. It's more, you know, Union Line 6s that tend to be the most exciting sounding engines, which is something BMW would have over this. But yeah, it's a fairly good car to be honest, and I'm really glad it's back in a Forza game, because we've not had it for a while. Along with another car that's also part of the car pass that has also been released this week, which you'll also see a review of. But I am glad it's back in the game, and just hopefully mean that we might get it in the next Forza Motorsport game, because yeah, I imagine this is probably a quite fun track car as well, to be honest. So yeah, overall a solid car, and yeah, it's a big shame we don't have a VXR version of the second generation Insignia, to be honest, because I really like the look of that car, but unfortunately it does not have a sporty version. It does have a quite a powerful version of that car. I think it's about 306 horsepower from a sizable V6 engine, but yeah, not all that much, no more powerful than this, and yeah, I don't even think it has all-wheel drive, to be honest. But yeah, I would like a VXR version of this. It's not like they don't do VXR versions of cars anymore, you know, you got the Corsa and the Astra, but I would like a VXR Insignia again, because yeah, especially when it looks as good as it does. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.